No, Iridology.
Iridology.
I
I don't even know if I'm saying it
I
right,
don't know
so
how
I'm
to
not
say
even
it.
here to correct
The
you.
eye science
Yeah.
is very interesting to me
Yeah.
because it's something that I looked at maybe a couple years ago, and I started thinking about people saying the eyes are the window to the soul. And of course, I wear glasses, and I'm thinking about how does that affect me, and how I receive energy and things like that. So I think it's really cool. Basically, with this science, what you're saying is you could look at someone's eyes and you could tell if they're having liver issues, kidney function issues, digestive issues, etc.
Down their pituitary gland, you have insomnia, it could be your pituitary gland. There's just so many parts of the body that you could see in the eye. And so I
Right.
can connect to see, like sometimes a lot of people may have the adrenals, the thyroid gland off as well, right? But normally the pituitary gland is a master gland that affects a few, that kind of governs a few other glands. So if I see that, normally the pituitary gland is the one I need to focus on first. When I do detox people, I focus on the adrenal too, because the adrenal governs the kidneys, right? They sit on top of the kidneys, and they also affect, like I said, anxiety is a common thing. Given the stressors that we have, the emotional, physical, and mental stress that is constantly, whether we're either eating food or, the physical stress of life, our adrenals are burnt out, so that gland is just a given one that I normally focus on, as well as the kidneys, because the four channels of elimination needs to be open, and normally the kidneys are not functioning, which in iridology, it goes into the lymphatic system, which, Dr. Morse, that's what he preaches. And that's the system that filtrates the cellular waste, the toxic, so anything that is trying to get filtrated through the system, when you guys have a cold, the mucus, that's a part of the lymphatic system. It carries out the acid of the body, and the mucus is a buffer, so you're not feeling
Mhm.
burning, which sometimes we even feel that, acid reflux, burning skin, psoriasis, eczema, dandruff. These are all lymphatic expressions that try to come through different holes and pores of the body,
Right.
especially when the kidneys are down. So when you're getting tumors and things like that, that's due to the lymphatic system being backed up, right? So, you may go through a phase where you're called fibroids, or just a tumor or a cyst. These are signs that your lymphatic system's back up. If you have acne, skin rashes, all those different things are just signs the elimination channels are not open. And when you, like I said, have one that's down, the body has to make up for other ones. So you may get skin issues. You may
Right.
it may collect itself and become a mass in your breast, which is what I had. And
Right.
and collecting your uterus. A lot of women who have taken birth control and stopped the flow of their body detoxing, because that's a detoxing period for
Mhm.
women. Um, Now they're collecting fibroids in their body, and or they're taking drugs and medicines and things that suppresses the
Right.
body, and you're wondering why it throws the body even further out of whack and create these other symptoms, because you're shutting down ways the body is trying to like gently knock on the door and say, hey sweetie, I need help here. I need you to stop eating this food in us and
Right.
feeding us this, because look, you see, I have mucus in my throat, or I have a headache. I have, it shows so many gentle signs before we get to a point where it becomes unpleasant. So we all really do get grace periods, but
Right.
it's learning the signs and learning how to be in tune with the body is, so I do teach, and that's something I intend to do, is create content that is going to be something that it can be self-paced, self-learned, like I've learned, because it took me some time to like, not only it's one thing to know it, but to be the information. So now
Right.
that I'm on the side of now experiencing what it's like to be there, you know what I mean? It's just a whole nother ball game. So yeah, iridology, you guys. I do intend to create like a course going over it, as much like crash course in the future. No time soon. Just
Mhm.
just keep that out there. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you some pictures of my eyes, and let you tell me what I got. What do you see? What do you see in my eyes?
What do I see?
Because like
The
I tell people all the time, I'm not like some perfect wellness guy. And it's like people always think when you're in this position where you're helping others that you're like up here somewhere. I'm right here with y'all every day, learning and growing. And so obviously it's funny how sometimes we disconnect ourselves from common diseases that we don't consider to be diseases, like not being able to see well, or balding, or just the signs of old age in general. There's a lot of things that happen to us. We're like, oh, that's just how it is. Sometimes people are born with poor eyesight. Some people bald early. Some people just their skin's wrinkly. It's like, you know what I mean? So we
skin's wrinkly, that's parathyroid. And if you're balding, that is stagnation in the head, you know? So
and that's
it's,
actually when I was researching, that's what I found, the lymph stagnation, right? And
mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's exactly what I
And what it does, it like, like for example, if you've had parents that had a lot of heavy stagnation in the head, it starts to kind of accumulate in certain areas to a certain point where that expression, those cells in that particular area is now weakened, and then that's passed down, and that's why you have all these different issues that you're
right,
born with. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so even though we're born with things, it does not mean that we can't address them. And I think that's the beautiful part about all of this.
Mm-hmm. For example, like my daughter, on my husband's side, he, you know, they have some expressions in the genes that's weakened due to lifestyle or whatever. So our niece, um, she lives on the other coast, on the other side. We're on the East Coast here, and her feet is like deformed, right? Or like she has a toe that's not in all like straight. It's kind of like
Mhm.
that. And so our daughter wound up having the same issue, because it's passed down genetically, where the feet area, which again I can see that in your eyes, um, that gene is weakened. So my daughter and her bone structure is not as wasn't as strong. So what we did was put her on a protocol, and for I think like 6 months, her feet is just regular now. It went from going like that to that.
Wow.
And that's all just strengthening,
Right.
cleaning and strengthening, and she also had like autoimmune issues, and we're still actually working with my daughter given that she's so young. It's a little more challenging on
Right.
being as hard on such a small child, but and I don't say hard, but cleaning and strengthening the genes. And so but yeah, she eats high vibrational food. We've seen a huge difference. The just to see the physical foot go from this, where it's not in alignment to
Right.
straighten out like that. Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's called regeneration. This is when you can strengthen genes that you're even handed down, so
Hmm.
you even have people, Dr. Jensen is the father of iridology, or known as the father in Western America as the father of iridology. I can't say that I'm a pro in all the history of it all, but I know some. And I'm trying to say this. He is pretty much, he talks about the lymphatic system. He talks about, he discovered, like, for example, and even seen this with my husband too, in his eye, or when he saw an owl that broke their wing, they had, damage in their eye. Like he saw literally the eye change,
Hmm.
so you could see the state of health through the eyes. And my husband, he got in a car accident. He messed up his back. We had to take him to the chiropractor, but he had like, I could see it in his eyes. I saw his eyes change. I was like, oh my God. He had this red mark in the scleratus of the eye, which is the white part of the eye. But he had chiropractic sessions. It went away.
Hmm.
So it's there to kind of reflect, just like, you know, you get skin rashes and different things. Your body is constantly communicating with you.
Right.
You're burping, you're getting gases. These are subtle telltale signs about what you're doing to it in the chemistry, because really we're just all chemistry.
Chemistry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so just about balancing on how you you know, I want to say alchem not alkaline, but alchemize the body, you know, so not just acidic, eating constant acidic foods, creating acidosis in the body, thus creating inflammation, stiffness, you know what I mean? Because even like Dr. Morse, even he was able to heal people. I say able because he's now teaching, he's not taking on clients anymore, but he's even healed people, quadriplegics. He's healed people with MS, dementia, all these different things. You know what I mean? These things can be healed. I didn't say cure, just a disclaimer. And I don't cure or diagnose or practice medicine, but be able to encourage the body to heal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the body, like right now, we're breathing, we're eating, you know, like when I'm saying we're breathing, our heart is pumping, our eyes blink. It's an intelligence. It's not something that is just out here acting wacky for no reason. It's reacting to what's been happening to it. And so it's we were born with these things. So why do we even think that something that came from it, like that was vented by it, can be better than be better than the original prototype, if that makes any sense?
Wow.
So, you know, if you look at that when it comes to man's medicine, it's like, okay, the same intelligence that run the body, that created the body first before you were able to grow. Like when you're a baby, you're not thinking about the m equals squared. Like you're not thinking on that level. So what I'm saying is, like, how do you think? You know, man's mind is fun to play with, but it's also dangerous, if that makes any sense. You know, because the delusion of trying to outsmart ourselves in a design, you know, the body and the archetype, it's created this way for a reason, you know, and it does everything, and it gives you enough time to turn back the hands of time for yourself, as far as the path that you may be taking. If, you know, you want to experience what Dr. Morse calls Hellville, continue and eat, you know, do your thing, do what you're doing, and continue not to listen. And, you know, but if you listen to your body, and if you listen to people like us who are there just to give you that encouragement and reminder, and to let you know it doesn't have to go down that way, you know? So yeah. I ramble, you guys.